Welcome to the show. Ooh, let me just hold on. Uh, why am I hearing myself? Oh, I know why I'm hearing myself. Okay, there we go. You probably can't see me either. Okay, welcome into the show. A lot has happened. Um, Another major hurricane has rolled through the state of Florida again. This one being Hurricane Milton. And I'm sure we all got the email. I know we all got the email from Aunt Janet saying that she's fine, and that's wonderful news. That's fine and dandy news. Yes. So I find it very strange, or not very strange, but welcome, Laura. It's interesting because every time I hear about a hurricane rolling through Florida, and before I didn't really know this until we heard from Aunt Janet, and that's why I'm hoping she's able to join tonight so that she can give a first-hand account about how Bradenton got hit. Bradenton seems to not get the most impact from the hurricane. It's according to the email that we all received back on the 10th. It said it was a non-event for all except for the lack of light and air conditioning. And so this is the second major hurricane in about a month or so to roll through the state of Florida, and yet seems like Bradenton didn't get hit as hard as Sarasota did. I know, based on the reports that I've seen on the news, Sarasota's got hit the worst in areas to the south, but Bradenton only got a very small amount of damage. According to the email that I'm reading here, just the apartment power went out. And so what I learned and gathered from this, it seems like Bradenton does not get hit by these hurricanes as hard as other areas of Florida. Other areas of Florida got, as I mentioned, Sarasota, Tampa, even on the eastern coast of Orlando, they seem to get hit harder than the Bradenton area. Now, I don't exactly remember how Ian hit the Bradenton area, but I'm pretty sure it's probably not as hard. And I wish we had Aunt Janet to tell us. I would like to know the biggest impact, the biggest storm impact over her years of living there. What's the biggest storm to cause the most damage to the Bradenton area? I would love to know. I would absolutely love to know that. So, unfortunately, Aunt Janet is not here to give us all that information. Yes, hello, Dave. But that opens the question to all of you, not just hurricanes, but do you remember the biggest storm, whether it's a thunderstorm, a tornado, anything? What do you remember is the biggest storm that you remember that made the most impact on your community? Of course, for me, it's the Labor Day storm back in 1998. I always remember that one. We were actually in Barnalba when it happened. we were actually in Broad Albin when it happened, and I didn't really know much, but I remember waking up to it and seeing the damage. Like, for example, the trees were the trees suffered the most damage, and then we returned to Syracuse, and it seemed to be a big deal. And now I remember this past summer we got a lot of tornadoes. Unfortunately, none of them hit where we live, but it was a big deal. And luckily, we didn't have to deal with any hurricanes up here. But severe weather does change, I'm sure, especially if you're in an area that's hardest hit, whether it's a thunderstorm, a tornado, or whatever. I know Rome got hit hard this past summer due to a tornado, and again, the biggest storm that I remember oh yes, snowstorm 1978. Tell us more, Laura, about that. Was it so? I'm assuming it's the Grand Rapids area. And oh yes, we do get hit with a lot of big snow. Of course, there's the blizzard of 1993. But please, Laura, tell us more about this snowstorm in 1978. How did it impact? What are your memories of it? And how did it impact you the most? Because I know, I'm sure the Grand Rapids area gets hit with lake effect. The lake effect snow coming off of Lake Michigan, probably just like the lake effect here off of Lake Ontario. It's funny that in a couple of months. Oh, Jan said that Indigenous people always knew that parts of Bradenton were safe from storm. So all the hurricanes, I'm beginning to put that together now. That whatever hurricane comes near Bradenton, they don't seem to get hit. They don't seem to get hit as much. Oh, welcome, Kelly. We're just about to talk about hurricanes. We got to Aunt Jan's perspective, but from your perspective, have you ever experienced excuse me, let me rephrase that. Have you ever gotten badly hit from hurricanes? Do you have a story to tell about what it was like when a hurricane passed through your area of Florida? We've learned from Janet that hurricanes that pass through Bradenton don't really hit. You don't really get much damage in Bradenton than other areas of Florida. Now, I know you've lived in other areas of Florida, and you must have seen, I'm guessing, various degrees of damage. Are you able to share a story of a hurricane that passed through your area and made a significant amount of damage? Or have you, let me ask this, have you, do you agree with Janet that really the areas that you live in don't get hit as hard as, let's say, other areas of Florida? You lived in Jacksonville, was hit by a Category 4, and we lost power for a week, and trees fell. Oh, wow. Do you remember when that was? Or do you know the storm's name? So it sounds like you've gotten hit more. You've gotten hit more often, or you seem to have the experience of getting hit and knowing what it's like to be hit hard by a hurricane. when you lived in Jacksonville. Depends where you live at the time of the storm. I can see that. I do know that Sarasota recently got hit. Oh yes, welcome Rachel. I know that Sarasota got hit the hardest, or one of the area. Oh, Katrina. Oh yes, tell us about how Katrina rolled through that area. Did you get hit hard or not much? Yes, that falls into 2005 when you lived together. Yes. Basically, oh yes, all the bad ones. I remember there was Charlie in 2004, and so the bad storms. So I'm just, because what I'm gathering here is that Bradenton doesn't. Oh, we had flooding in some. Oh, flooding in some branches down. Wow. So, and this is just over the course of. Oh yes. Dave says you were playing in a golf outing and lightning hit it. Wow. Lightning hit a huge tree and blew it to smithereens. It hit one hole. Yes, that makes sense. Bradenton does get lucky. It sounds like it. And that's good, but let me finish reading this comment. Oh, you were in the blizzard of 1978, where many of the roads were closed for 4 days. My neighbor and I got groceries for our neighbors on our snowmobiles. Our tornado hit the big rapids while my wife was driving. So, it sounds like we've all had our share of storms. And luckily, we've all survived all of them. But it's just amazing. If you think about it, it's just amazing what Mother Nature throws at you sometimes. And you have to be prepared. And as long as you're prepared and you know what to do, and you have a plan, that's actually one of the PSAs that we don't have played. But I think that prior to the hurricane predictions, can expect it to hit in certain areas. The last hurricane, that's true. In the last hurricane, the eye of the hurricane, yes, in its greatest impact, they have been unpredicted. I mean, that is true. As long as you're prepared and you know, like people in Florida, I'm sure, they've lived through several hurricanes, and they know how to be prepared and to protect themselves from it. So as long as you're prepared, and as long as you know what to do, you'll be safe. Yes, hurricanes do move a lot. They can be unpredictable. I mean, we do see the different computer models can predict where the hurricane, but you just never know exactly where it's going to hit until it hits. And based on what I've gathered over these past couple, or this past month, when Jan's come on and said, it's not, the Bradenton area doesn't get hit a lot. Oh, back in 2023, your apartment building shook a lot. I'm glad that especially the Florida residents, I'm glad that you're safe and you took whatever measures were necessary to safeguard yourself. Did you have to evacuate at all? Did you have to evacuate at all? I'm curious. I mean, and how would you decide whether you leave the area? And yes, the number I was told to evacuate, and you chose to stay. Okay. I'm curious, what goes into the decision? Oh yes, turn around, don't drown is something important to keep in mind. Oh, yes, I taught you that. I mean, that's true. You don't want to drive in areas where the water covers the road because once your car hits that, truth, Lord, yes. It's interesting because they said I was watching the press conference, and they said, we don't want Florida man and Florida woman cutting down the power lines because they don't want people cutting down the power lines or any line for that matter. It's very dangerous. Yes, anyway, going back to Alex, turn around, don't drown, is something to keep in mind because once your car hits the water, you don't know what's underneath it, and you don't know how much you have. Yes, crackhead. I mean, cutting down power lines is something that you don't want to do. Yeah, you do not want to do because not only do you have power, but you also have you also have fiber lines. You have always wait a few days after. Yep, that's true because you don't want to go through the debris. Yep, you don't want to go through the debris, and you want to make sure that the area is safe. And of course, we see a lot of. And I don't know. This is based off of what I see on the news. I don't really. I've never lived through a hurricane, but I've lived through several other storms. Yes, and I see a lot of others. I've been through a lot of other storms. Like the storm that I always remember is the Labor Day storm of 1998. That was a big one, and it wasn't a hurricane, but it left the most damage, and it killed 2 people, I believe, at the New York State Fair. Most of us will remember the Labor Day storm of 1998. That was actually called a derecho, or straight line winds that passed through the area. We haven't had a storm as severe since then, but this summer we've had tornadoes, a lot of tornadoes. We've had severe thunderstorms that are almost just as dangerous. It's surprising for me to think that we up in central New York will have tornadoes. They're more common than you think up here. And of course we get the remnants, and then we get the remnants of whatever hurricane comes up from the Gulf or the Atlantic coast. So we do get the remnants. So there hasn't been any storms of note that have come through my hometown. But Alex, I'm sure there are storms that have recently passed through the Albany area. Whatever we get. Now, I don't really know how Albany works, but usually I would have to think that whatever weather we get, you eventually get. That's usually what happens because weather moves from west to east. So I'm curious, like the remnants of or whatever thunderstorms have passed. I think earlier this year the remnants of it started with B and I can't think of it right now. That the remnants of Beryl. The biggest storm that I remember was the remnants of Beryl, and that caused This was in the summer, and that caused a lot of tornado warnings, and that's all passed. But in essence, I want to wrap this up. We've been going on for too long of a break. But as long as you're prepared, as long as you know how to protect yourself, and you don't go out, you also don't go out in it if you have. You stay indoors and you don't go out. A record for tornadoes in Florida in one day. Yes, I know. What day are you referring to? The day that Milton hit? Are you talking about the day that Milton hit? That it was a record for tornadoes in Florida in one day? Because I did hear about that. The day that Milton hit Florida, there were lots of other tornadoes. Wow. East Florida. And tornadoes cause just as damage. You think of hurricanes for that area, but tornadoes hit just as bad. So we're gonna take a quick break, and coming up, I didn't really take much pictures, so I'm gonna try to improvise here. Of course, the ice storm in March 1 or yeah, I think March 1 or 2, 1992, on Rachel's birthday. Yes. We were 2 weeks without power and we had to send you more. We'll share more of that ice storm story after the break. Right now, back to more music right here on the weekend party, excuse me. I'm also keeping an eye on the Syracuse game. Currently, Syracuse is up by a field goal. I'll keep you up to date on how that goes and more. Sit tight. We'll be back. You're listening to the weekend party on the pre-weekend kickoff, and thank you for all the chat comments. Yeah, so during the break, we were talking in the chat about the ice storm of 2003 that hit. So I have a funny. I remember this part. So this was around the 2003 national championship, and so I remember a lot of Syracuse was out of power. So what they ended up doing was they had. What they ended up doing was they had the dome open and people watch, and people could watch the Syracuse play in the Final Four on the big TV in the dome. We watched Syracuse play from, I remember, from the Edelman's house. We went over there because our house was out of power as well, and of course that of course was the year that Syracuse went all the way in the national championship. So, and then of course the big ice storm of 1992, which I'm sure Mom can tell you more about. I don't know if I have pictures to show to everybody, but I thought I remember taking pictures of 2003. We don't have any pictures of, or do we? I don't know if we have any pictures of the 1992 ice storm. I do remember, even though I was 2 years old, and this. Oh yes, Edelman's during the storm in 2003, and I remember this happened around Rachel's birthday. The storm of 1992 happening around Rachel's birthday, and based on stories that I've heard, this is just based on stories that I've heard, Rochester was out of power for a while, and I'm surprised, Elizabeth, that you actually don't vividly remember that storm, and I do. 2003, so we would have all been home. We would have all been home at 51. We would have all been home, and I remember we had school off. I think they closed the school. I think they closed the school. It was that bad. And I remember I know we were all at the Edelman's house. Yeah, we were all at the Edelman's house watching the Syracuse game, and oh, it wasn't that bad, no. Except from the power, yes, aside from the power. It probably wasn't as bad as the ice storm of 92. And again, I can't really compare the two storms, but it wasn't as bad. No, it probably wasn't as bad as the ice storm of 1992, where we had to go to Broad Albin. And I think just about a week. Under your five blanket cocoon, that's funny. The 5 blanket cocoon. Well, that's funny. You see, I have more vivid memories than all of you, or at least some of you, so I can. But it wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. Basically, one memory that I will always remember is going to the Edelman's to watch Syracuse play, and we had to watch it on small TV. Yes, we had to watch it on small TV instead of the big TV. Probably I don't know how I slept on those blankets. Now I sweat to death if I'm more than one. If I'm under more than one. We may have had. Okay. I remember pictures of the ice trees following the 1992 ice storm. After the storm, many trees heavy with ice fell over in our backyard. Trees and anybody going past our house with a chainsaw was hired that moment to cut down the trees. It's okay if you don't. And I obviously remember 2003 more than 1992 because I was older. But both were big storms, and both caused a lot of power outages. Okay, let's get in. Shifting gears. I'm going to give you an update on the score as soon as it comes up. Last I checked, we were still up by a field goal 3-0, and there's more. And I think that we're now in the second quarter, so I'll keep you updated. Thank you for your insights. We'll be back with, let's see what time. Oh, it's already bumper. It's almost bumper to time. Unfortunately, I only have one song. If you want to put some songs in the suggestions that I can quickly add during the break, you can if you want to. But right now we're going to take another break and come back soon. My, where has the time gone in the show? By the way, before we do any Bumper and Dumper songs, in case you were wondering, Syracuse football is still 3-0 with 4 minutes and counting. 4 minutes and counting left in the second quarter. So we'll now 3 minutes and 59 seconds and counting. This seems to be a low-scoring game right now, but let's continue with the Bumper and Dumpins. First up, we're going to have. It's called Lawrence, What You Want, and I discovered this while traveling through the Mohawk Valley, listening to 97.9, 105.5 Kiss FM. Please enjoy Lawrence, What You Want, and get ready to get your vote on as we begin the first song of the Bump and Dump It. Voting begins right now. I would have given it a bump too. I'm just curious, Dave. Dave's the only one who's given it a dump. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. It had a lot of soul in it, and the vocals were excellent, I thought. I'm just curious. Everybody but Dave. I don't mean to single you out, but everybody but Dave seemed to give it a dump for tonight. So I'm curious what went into your mind for that. And that's okay, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Moving right along. Next one we have Gracie Abrams. Oh, too rappy for, okay. too rappy for. Okay, that makes sense. Moving along now, we have Gracie Abrams. This is her recent hit, Close to You, and I also listened to this before on 97.9 105.5. Kiss FM, get ready to put your voting hats on once again. Please enjoy the next selection. I thought this was a good one too. I would have bumped it. Now here's where we get interesting because Elizabeth and Alex are split on their votes. Elizabeth voted to bump it, and Alex voted to dump it. So I find that very interesting. By the way, if you are keeping track, while that song was playing, Syracuse did score a touchdown. So now it is 10-0. Syracuse did get its first touchdown, so that's very good. Yep, Syracuse scored its first touchdown, so that's very good. Moving along, this is not really a new I've played it before, but YouTube, it has been taken off YouTube, but now it's back on. It's a mashup between Pipe Dream and Marble Machine. And if you remember, we played Pipe Dream at the OCC Percussion Suite reunion last year, and I'm hoping to play the Marble Machine next year for OCC. What I really wanted to play is this, but I don't know if we could. So please enjoy this. It's called. So please enjoy this mashup between Pipe Dream and Marble Machine. I brought it back because it has just returned to YouTube, and I wanted to bring it back. So welcome back. And this is the first time that we had. I think this is also the first time that we had a return song be featured in the Bumper and Dumper. So please, I know I'm going to enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy this too. Okay, before we get into the next one, there are some interesting developments happening with the football game. So now we have two flags. We have two. Yes. If you didn't get your vote in, you still have time. You can bump it or dump it while I explain what's going on with the football game. So both Syracuse and NC State just got illegal formation flags, while NC State was attempting to kick a field goal. And now they just ran it in for a touch. Now NC State has just ran it in for a touchdown. So now it's 10-6, soon to be 10-7. This is turning into quite a game, and I know NC State's they're an ACC team, and they're a tough opponent. So we need to hold on to the lead as long as we can. Yep, and they're about to go for the extra point. And the extra point is good, so now it is officially 10-7. Syracuse is now only leading this game by 3. Unbelievable. Syracuse is only leading this game by 3. I can't believe it. I just got up. I can't believe it. Mom, do you have a vote? The song that just last played. You still have time to put in a vote. And just imagine. And we played Pipe Dream. Yep, it's the song I played with the pipes and the marimba sound. Now, if you remember, we played Pipe Dream last year, and we're hoping to play Marble Machine next year. So, in an ideal world, I hope we could play what you just heard, but there is an original Marble Machine. There actually is an original Marble Machine, which we will play after this final Bump It or Dump It song, as soon as I load it in. And let's see. But I know you can just imagine playing that with the pipes and the marimba and the vibraphone and everything. I mean, I love that kind of music because it's, for one, it's innovative, and also number two, it's something that you don't usually hear. Well, it's innovative, and it uses technology, and has the pipes and the marimba and xylophone. So, and you'll hear the original Marble Machine after this last one, which is Zach Bryan. This is by Zach Bryan. It's called Pink Skies, and I'm hearing this for the first time as well. So get ready to bump it and dump it on this last one. Zach Brown, Pink Skies. Enjoy. That got a unanimous bump as well. Congratulations. Latest developments on the football game. They decided to go for it on fourth, and it's just halftime. So the score has not changed. Syracuse leads NC State by only 3 points. We'll see what the second half has in store. It's a very close game, and I'll be watching it. We'll all be watching it. Going to close the show with some Winter Garden, the original Marble Machine. The song 2 songs back, before Zach Bryan, Pink Skies, was a mashup, if you will, of. Oh, there was a mega reunion of Mohawk graduates today. It serves as an opportunity to not only celebrate those who still attend, but those who have passed. Oh, it could. I can see where that comes from. So we're going to finish with the original Marble Machine, and this arrangement is what I hope to play at the next OCC Percussion Ensemble, or the next OCC Percussion Reunion. Did you go? Yes. Did you go to this, or did you stay home for this? Try again. Your last chat comment came up empty. Oh, you did not attend. Okay. Well, Mazel Tov, I'm signing off, and everybody stay forever living. And we'll be back same time next week. Again, please enjoy Winter Garden, Marble Machine, and just imagine us playing this at the OCC, hopefully OCC Percussion Suite Reunion next year. So. And we'll be back with some more fun. We'll be back with more fun stuff next week. Oh, thank you. And please, Alex, if you, I hope you're keeping track of this game, and I hope you appreciate the score updates that I gave. I tried my best to keep everybody up to date with the score of the football game. And we will see everybody next week. And enjoy the next week. Do whatever you can to make it a fun one.